A very warm welcome to Oyster News. This is John presenting a news podcast about everything oyster. On the podcast today, there's news of Cafe Oyster. That's our Wednesday cafe, the Chapel Cafe at Westgate Chapel, Radio Lewes, Arts and Craft, the new Oyster Project, and a roundup of events which will happen in the second part of 2014. But first, just in case you haven't heard, the Oyster Project charity was awarded the prestigious Queen's Award for Voluntary Service for outstanding and trailblazing work in the voluntary sector. This amazing award is down to all the hard work the member volunteers have put into the charity over the last 10 years, 5 years of that as an actual charity. This award is a real challenge and a fantastic opportunity to consolidate everything we have done together. So congratulations everybody, it's a fantastic achievement and we can all be particularly proud of this. Earlier this week I popped into the Westgate Chapel Cafe to see Jeanette, and while I was there I met up with Michi, and the short interview that follows is a roundup from both Jeanette and Michi about what's happening up at Westgate. Can you tell me how the food bank's been going first of all, because that's our new venture, isn't it, really, the food bank?
That's been quite an interesting learning curve. It's been going now for about 3 months. In that period, we did a trial initially of a few people, and that's gone up steadily over the last 3 months to approximately 10 people now who are in receipt of food parcels from us. It's a fortnightly venture that we're at the moment, and it's been interesting. We're learning about what people, the best foods to give out, and what kind of donations people are giving. So we're learning all the time, getting very positive feedback from people who are receiving the food. It's making a big difference to them. It's we try to make a difference of about £15 to £20 to their pocket every fortnight at the very least. Of course, we're coming up to the end of July, so we will be closed during August, but we're going to try and make sure they've got enough to cover them for a couple of weeks at least. But other than that, it's going very well.
Right, that sounds fantastic. And where are we getting the food from? What's the source of the food?
Well, we have several sources. We have boxes at the Sussex Downs College, at the St John's School in both Seaford and Brighton, at the Quakers in Lewes. Firle and Southover schools are going to be joining us in September. And of course we have one at the Westgate Chapel and one at the Oyster Project down at the All Saints.
Well, that sounds fantastic. And that's really a sort of offshoot of your work with the Chapel Cafe, which we're just at the end of this week, we'll be celebrating our first year. That's right, isn't it?
Yes, we have done. We've been going since last September now. So we've done a full year. We've had lots of people come through our doors in that time. We've learned a lot. We learned what kind of food people, again, enjoy. Again, it's been a massive learning curve for us and our volunteers. The great thing is our volunteers are now very confident. They're able to run it themselves, able to do the tills. So, the idea behind it was to give our volunteers work experience. And, of course, we have people like members who are now working in other ventures, which is it's really the aim behind it, is just to make people comfortable socially, to get some work experience. So we think it's been a success. More and more public are coming through the doors. We had a great review from Beaver Lewis last month, which has brought people in who have, said, we read about your review and very pleased that, that we're actually running it. It's an alternative to the mainstream places that are generally going on in Lewes.
We're certainly very alternative, aren't we? And one of the other alternatives, of course, what we're doing at Westgate, apart from the Chapel Cafe and the food bank, but we're also running a craft group on Monday, and I'm joined by Michi Matthias, our all-round craft person. Michi, the craft group, how's that been going?
It's been going really well. We started last November. And we've done various activities over the months, including we started with felt making, then we did a bit of glass painting. We're now doing mosaic making. All of these things are relatively easy to start. I mean, you can learn to do them. you can get successful results, fairly early on. And the more you do them, the more you learn just by doing. So we're getting more and more skilled, and we're making items that we can actually sell right here in the cafe in our newly inaugurated craft cupboard, which is full of, really quite nice items that have been made right here at Westgate that people can come and buy.
So this is a craft shop in a cupboard where we display what sort of things?
Well, the things that we've made so far, we've got felt items, we've got glass-painted items, and we've got some mosaic tiles which can be used as hot plates and things like that. But we also have leather belts that were made in the leather making area, which I was going to say it doesn't happen here, but it actually happens downstairs, doesn't it, in another part of Westgate. And we've got cards. Cards have been made for actually quite a few years by some of our members, and they're all completely individual, unique, handmade cards, and at a very bargain price, if I may say so. So do come in and have a look.
And are there any plans for selling more stuff and expanding the sales?
We always have plans for that. As soon as we think of more ideas, we'll do them. What we are going to do is be gearing up for a craft fair, which is happening in November. And we'll be inviting other people in the community as well if they want to come and have a stall. But we'll be selling things that we've made here. And if I remember rightly, that's the 8th of November, which is a Saturday. That'll be all day. And the mosaic making has been so successful in that people are able to do it no matter... Well, I mean, we have some people that really have trouble using their hands, and they're still able to make very successful patterns and colors, and it just comes out really nicely almost, no matter what you do. And I was thinking, since we have a lot of materials left over, and we've made quite a lot, I might, and I haven't actually spoken to anyone about this yet, so this might get edited out. Anyway, we're thinking that it might be a nice thing to have at the craft fair, a table where children or other people could make mosaics on the spot, and we could then grout them and finish them, and then they could take them home later.
So sort of drop-in mosaic workshop at the craft fair. Great. Well, I think what we've heard is that what's going on at Westgate has been very successful. It's been hard work, but we've ploughed on regardless of the ups and downs, and we're building something really exciting at Westgate. So thank you very much, Jeanette, for talking about what you've been doing, and thank you very much, Michi, for talking about what you've been doing. Thank you. Well, we're standing in the sunny garden, the vegetable garden at the Westgate Chapel, and I've been joined by Ben Fuller, who manages very ably the Oyster Cafe, or Cafe Oyster we call it now. We're starting to call it now. The community cafe that runs at All Saints on Wednesday, which is our longest running project. So how are things going down there, Ben?
Oh, very well. We've got the cafe finally paying for itself, more or less. Got a good team, and it's getting more and more successful. I think we've probably got about 40 regulars now, along with members as well. Menu keeps changing. People seem to like that. And, yeah, doing very, very well.
And there are other activities, apart from just having a nice lunch, economically priced quality lunch. There's other stuff happens at the cafe as well?
Yes, we've got a wonderful lady called Michi that runs the art table, and that ranges from anything from watercolours to cartoons to, well, you name it. She's pretty good all-rounder. Other things happen as well occasionally. We've got a couple of craft clubs going on. They've expressed interest in using the cafe. It hasn't happened yet, but we're certainly selling the cards that they're making for the craft club. We've got a fantastic fella called Philip Wise. He runs the raffle for us. He's got more energy than anybody I've ever met, and he just makes everybody smile.
And uncannily, he seems to win a raffle prize every week. What's that all about?
Well, either he's got his a fix on the book, or he's just the luckiest person ever to pick up a raffle ticket.
Well, I'd like to think it's lucky rather than the fix on the book. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, the cafe's closing for August.
Yeah, we all need a bit of a break. Also, the kids are off school, so a lot of our regulars won't be coming in anyway. So we'll have a 4-week holiday and be raring to go again in September.
Excellent. And I believe in September the Aware Project is going to have a little drop-in surgery at the cafe each week?
Yeah, actually, you know a bit more about that than I do, but I believe it's about police community liaison. Anybody that has any problems can come and see them. One of our members, Suchi, is heading that. She works for the police. I believe it's the hate crime or discrimination team she works for, so that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, so that's starting in September, and we look forward to that. Thanks very much, Ben. Thanks for the information, and thanks for all you do at the community cafe and elsewhere. I have to add, it's not just the community cafe. Ben is a fantastic example of what a member volunteer is. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Well, we had Ben made mention of the new Aware Project, the launch of which is on the 13th of September, Saturday, 11 a.m. at Westgate, and all members are welcome. I met up with Suchi Chatterjee at the Cafe Oyster, the community cafe at Wednesday, and we talked about the Aware Project. And Suchi and myself are sort of heading up the Aware Project, which we've got funding for from the Sussex Police and Crime Commissioner. We're going to be working with the local police 2 days a week. We're going to have a drop-in surgery type thing at the community cafe on Wednesdays, and on Fridays at the Chapel Cafe. So an opportunity for members and visitors to come along and get information. But I wanted to ask Suchi, what do we actually mean by hate crime, Suchi? What are we talking about?
Well, hate crime is when someone treats you badly because of who you are, who they think you are. So if, say, you're a disabled person and somebody comes up to you and is abusive to you because you're in a wheelchair or because you have a learning disability, that's a hate crime or a hate incident because somebody is targeting you because they perceive you to be different.
Okay, and I think probably by different we mean weaker, don't we?
I think that's what people think. They think that people with disabilities are weaker, but that's not necessarily the case. If you've got a disability, you might have to do things differently, but it doesn't make you weaker because lots of disabled people are reporting hate crime to the police now.
And that's really what Aware is about, isn't it? Giving our members and other disabled people the tools to take that first step, to know who to talk to and what sort of things they should be looking out for.
You know, absolutely. I mean, it's about giving people control and power over their lives so that they can say, right, that person has done this to me in the street because I'm in a wheelchair or I'm autistic, so I'm going to go to the police. And if I can't go to the police, I know somebody who can help me go to the police.
Fantastic. And what do we hope to be able to give people at the drop-ins?
Well, certainly advice. Definitely information about how you can report hate crime. You know, if you're a person who's suffered any form of hate crime and you're worried about going to the police, then the Aware Project can help you. There's going to be somebody there that can go with you to a police station, or you can report it if needs be at the Aware desk at the Oyster Cafe on a Wednesday. It will be, and it's also going to be at Westgate as well. Is that on a Friday? And it can give help, support, advocacy, and what I think is the most important is that it's a kind of a 6 degrees of separation. One person reports it, they tell another, so it becomes like that when you drop that pebble into the pond. I know it's a bit of a cliche, and those ripples go outwards, and everybody will learn how to report hate crime.
Fantastic. And we've got a launch coming up, haven't we? A big press launch.
Yeah,
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, we've got that on Saturday, the 13th of September, and that's going to be at the Westgate Chapel. And we have got the Crime Commissioner hopefully coming. And we've had confirmation from Mr. York, who's the Chief Constable of Sussex Police. He's very excited about it. When I sent him the invitation, he got back to me the next day. And it's going to be Well, really looking forward to it. And we're also going to be launching our card, aren't we? Our My What To Do card, if you want to report hate crime.
Absolutely, and in true Oyster fashion, we've enrolled, I use the word enrolled, Michi and her draftsmanship skills and cartooning skills to help us with that, to try and make things clearer and clearer rather than wordy. We don't want words, do we?
I know. I mean, there's pictures, and it's not sort of talking down to people. It's talking to people. Because when I read it, I remembered when I was growing up, because I had learning difficulties, I would have loved something like this that I could understand and I would know what to do. And this is what this card is about.
Fantastic. So just to round that up, the 13th of September, 11 o'clock, I was going to say, at the Westgate Chapel, and all members are welcome. And that's the official launch of the Aware Project. And then we will have a drop-in desk at the cafe at All Saints on Wednesdays and at Westgate on Fridays, and that's going to run for the whole of 2014 through to next summer on 2015. And more often than not, I would hope, there would actually either be a police officer or a PCSO there, actually there, so that people get to know our local police team as people.
And they're here right now today, which is brilliant, and, I'm hoping that if even if just one of them is there each time, that means if you want to speak to somebody and you want to speak directly to a police staff or police officer, you can do that.
Fantastic, and hopefully we're going to talk to a couple of those people in a second. Thank you, Suchi. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And I'm now joined by Matt West, who's the Hate Crime Coordinator for East Sussex. Is that right, Matt?
That's correct, for East Sussex Division for Sussex Police.
Fantastic. Where are you based?
I'm based at Grove Road at the moment at Eastbourne, soon to move to Hammond's Drive, because obviously they've sold Grove Road, so we're moving into where the response units are at Hammond's Drive.
Right, okay. So East Sussex, we're talking about the Lewes district, which is the sort of district that would affect most of our members, although we do have members that come from Crowborough and other areas. We're talking to Suchi about a sort of definition of hate crime. What's your sort of take on the impact on a community of hate crime?
The impact on the community can be a definite change in their way of life and the way they live and the way they should live peacefully. The unfortunate thing is hate crime is underreported, and part of my role as the hate crime coordinator is to improve the confidence in reporting those things to the police force particularly, but also trying to put in place support to help the individuals, the victims of this crime.
So our Aware project that we've recently got funding for and we're launching on the 13th of September is exactly the sort of vehicle for doing that work, I would imagine.
Most definitely, and I will be there at the launch with my colleagues here. I'm sure you will speak to them in a minute. But that is the ideal situation. Part of my role is to get out there in the community with the hard-to-reach groups and build the confidence between Sussex Police and those groups, so they will come forward and report these incidents.
Well, that's exactly what we're trying to do, and we want to be a catalyst, not just for Lewes, but for the whole of East Sussex, really, and beyond, so that people with disability can come, get information, and can get some resolution to the problems. Thanks very much, Matt, for talking to me. I'm joined now by Dave and Ginny, both police officers based in Eastbourne, is that right, Dave?
At the moment, yeah, Eastbourne, but I'm the Lewes District ASB and Hate Officer, so I sort of cover all of Seaford, Newhaven, Peacehaven and all the Lewes sort of rural villages, but at the moment just working in Eastbourne, but Ginny is the ASB officer.
In Eastbourne, so I cover the Eastbourne District mainly.
So, but we work closely together, and Matt's come in now as a new hate coordinator, and as you said, the Aware Project is going to be perfect for us. We only found out it was Suchi who actually introduced us to the Oyster Project, and we've come along now, and we've been involved with a couple of things already. Key role for us is that we deal with all the victims of antisocial behaviour and for hate crime, and what we're trying to make people aware is, including police officers and the community, is that it might not be a big incident as such to these people and, with antisocial behaviour, but it has a great effect on them as well as victims, you know. So we're trying to change how police officers are thinking as well, is that it's not down to their opinion, it's about what the victim thinks, and that's why we have a harm-based approach now. And so whenever we get a report, everything is taken seriously regarding of disability, homophobic abuse, transgender. We deal with that, and we take every single case seriously, and we'll deal with it professionally. But also we've got our victim support service, and that is dedicated for all our victims of ASB and hate crime. And they are personal. They come to the victims and speak about what they want, and that's key for us at East Sussex, which West Sussex and Brighton don't currently have. So yeah, it's and we're looking forward to the Aware launch on the 13th. Definitely.
So we're really sort of paving the way here, aren't we? It's sort of trailblazing in East Sussex, having
Seems good.
a project that's coordinating our needs,
Yep.
your needs, and the needs of disabled people and people experiencing hate crime.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it has been. We've had reports over the last. We've been in place now since May 2010, in dealing with the way that people feel, rather than just what the offenders are doing as such. But we have dealt with many sort of disability crimes or just incidents that come in. It doesn't have to be actual crimes. We still record those, and it's amazing how many we have had. But they are being reported, and as Matt said, we just want to increase that reporting and the confidence that comes along with that as well. So.
That's fantastic, and I dare say we'll be hearing more from you as the project goes on. We're going to run through to about this time in 2015, twice a week, keeping the momentum going. So look forward to talking to you as the project develops.
Excellent.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
Well, as promised at the beginning of this podcast, the dates for your diary. Cafe Oyster back on the 3rd of September. The Aware launch, 13th of September at Westgate, 11 a.m. Everybody welcome. We've got a barn dance also in September on the 19th. That's led by Vic Smith, and everybody's welcome to that. We're working with the October Feast in October, surprisingly enough, and we have a soup kitchen on the 3rd up at Westgate, where if you bring a donation to the Oyster Food Bank, you'll get a free bowl of soup and a hunk of bread, I hope. More events happening in November, which we're talking about. The craft fair, mostly the most important one, probably at the beginning of November. That's on Saturday the 8th, again at Westgate. That's all for now. Goodbye.